Dear students, so this is the continuation of our solid state topic. So in my previous session we had discussion on crystal lattice and unit cells. We also had discussion on types of unit cells. As we already know, there are mainly two types of unit cells: primitive unit cell and centered unit cell. So in case of centered unit cell, again we have BCC, body centered cubic unit cell, FCC, face centered cubic unit cell, and end centered unit cell. What are all these? We have already discussed in my previous session. So today let us see the 7 type of primitive unit cells. They are also known as crystal systems, and their possible variations. How they are classified into different possible variations, that is nothing but our Bravais lattices. Okay, so before going to that, let us see what are those 7 primitive unit cells. Now once again, these crystal systems are primitive unit cells. We are going to characterize on the basis of 6 parameters what we have stated in my previous session. Each unit cell is characterized by 6 parameters: their edge lengths, small a, b, c, and axial angles alpha, beta, and gamma. So what are those 7 primitive unit cells means? The first one is cubic system or cubic unit cell or cubic primitive unit cell, and second one is tetragonal, third one orthorhombic, and fourth one hexagonal. Fifth one is rhombohedral. Sixth one monoclinic, and seventh one is triclinic. So dear students, these are the 7 primitive unit cells: cubic, tetragonal, orthorhombic, hexagonal, rhombohedral, monoclinic, and triclinic. How exactly these primitive unit cells seems to appear, how they looks like, and what are their edge lengths and axial angles, how possibly they are going to vary, we'll see now. Okay. So dear students, so here are the 7 basic primitive unit cells which are going to show different possible variations as Bravais lattices. So first one is cubic unit cell. A cubic unit cell is one in which its edge lengths are same. I mean, here edge length A is equal to B is equal to C, means its all edges are same. Whereas when we come to the axial angles, you see here the angle between A and C is beta, that is represented by 90 degree here. The angle between B and C is alpha, that is also 90 degree, and the angle between A and B is gamma. So the angles alpha is equal to beta is equal to gamma is equal to 90 degree in the cubic unit cell. So a crystal system in which edge lengths are equal, A is equal to B is equal to C, at the axial angles alpha is equal to beta is equal to gamma is equal to 90 degree, then it is called as cubic system. So the name of the crystal system is cubic. So next coming to tetragonal. If you observe here, the edge length A and B, they are equal, whereas C is, the length of C is somewhat larger. So that's why I can write. So a tetragonal is a crystal system in which A is equal to B, but that is not equal to C. When we come to the angles, see, all the edge lengths are perpendicular here. So that's why the angle alpha is equal to beta, that is equal to gamma, is equal to 90 degree. So though the edge lengths are not equal here, but the bond angles, axial angles, all are 90 degree. So that is called tetragonal crystal system. Next moving to orthorhombic. If you observe this geometry properly, all those edge lengths are different. See, the length of A, B and C, they are different, but all the axial angles, they are equal to 90 degree, means they are mutually perpendicular to each other. If you observe properly, it looks like a matchbox. Yes, it has been asked in one of the CET exams. So matchbox appears to be which type of crystal system? So you may easily answer as orthorhombic one. So what happens here? The edge lengths are not equal. So A is not equal to B and that is also not equal to C, but the angles alpha is equal to beta is equal to gamma is equal to 90 degree here. Next moving to hexagonal crystal system. Already we have seen a hexagonal arrangement in case of structure of graphite in first PUC. So these type of hexagonal rings will be there in the graphite. So a crystal system hexagonal, it appears like this. If you observe properly, the side A and B are equal, but that is not equal to C. So therefore A is equal to B, but that is not equal to C. See, the angles alpha and beta, they are 90 degree. Alpha is equal to beta is equal to 90 degree, but one of its angle gamma, the angle between A and B gamma is not 90 degree, it is 120 degree. So the angle gamma is equal to 120 degree. So this is about hexagonal system. Next moving to rhombohedral, also known as trigonal system. So if you observe properly, all the edge lengths are equal. A is equal to B is equal to C. So A is equal to B is equal to C, but the angles are not 90 degree. If you observe properly, they are not perpendicular. So hence alpha is equal to beta is equal to gamma is not equal to 90 degree. So that is called rhombohedral system. Next coming to monoclinic system, and in this monoclinic system, if you observe properly here, see this, A is small, C is large, B is somewhat smaller than C, means the edge lengths are not equal, but the two axial angles, the angle between A and B gamma is 90 degree, angle between B and C alpha is 90 degree, but beta between A and C, it is not equal to 90 degree. So I can write like this. So the edge lengths, A is not equal to B is not equal to C, two angles alpha and gamma, alpha is equal to gamma is equal to 90 degree, but the angle beta is not equal to 90 degree. So these are the arrangements of our monoclinic crystal system. If the edge lengths are like this and the bond angles are like this, then surely the crystal system will be monoclinic. So we are having one more crystal system, that is known as triclinic. So once again you observe here A, B and C. A is smaller one, B is larger, C is smaller than B. So hence once again A is not equal to, B is not equal to C. That is the arrangement of our edge lengths. But when we come to the angles, all angle, I mean alpha, beta, gamma, they all are not equal to, first of all they are not equal to one another, and also they are not equal to 90 degree. Alpha is not equal to, beta is not equal to, gamma is not equal to 90 degree. So these are the possible arrangements. These are the possible arrangements of 7 crystal systems or 7 primitive unit cells. So now they show the different types of, they show the different possible variations which are also known as Bravais lattices. Now I am going to summarize all these unit cell in a single chart so that we can study in a very simple way in by studying in a systematic way by making a chart. Now let us summarize these crystal systems once again by writing their possible variations, how the edge lengths are arranged in that particular crystal system, how the axial angles, along with some examples. Okay. So now the first one is cubic crystal system or cubic primitive unit cell. So there are three possible variations for this primitive unit cell. First one is primitive. We know what is primitive, means a unit cell in which particles are present only at the corners. So another one is body centered also we know, and next one is face centered. So these are the three possible variations of our cubic system. How the edge length, we already seen in this edge length A is equal to, B is equal to C, and the axial angles alpha is equal to, beta is equal to, gamma is equal to 90 degree. When we come to example, some ionic solids like NaCl, zinc blende, copper, etc. So this is about cubic system, cubic crystal system. So in cubic crystal system is one in which edge lengths are equal and the angle alpha, beta, gamma are 90 degree. So next moving to tetragonal. So it shows only two possible variations. One is primitive, another one is body centered. So what about the arrangement of edge lengths in this tetragonal? Means two edge lengths A and B are equal, but that is not equal to C. But the angles alpha is equal to, beta is equal to, gamma is equal to 90 degree. When we come to the example, white tin is the example. White tin, SnO2, thallium oxide, TlO2 are some examples. Next moving to the third one, orthorhombic crystal system. In orthorhombic we are having maximum possible variations, maximum Bravais lattices are present among the 7 crystal system. A primitive unit cell which has maximum possible variation is orthorhombic crystal system. There are 4 types of possible variations are there. One is primitive, second one is body centered, third one is face centered, and fourth one is end centered. So there are four, maximum possible variations are shown by the crystal system called orthorhombic. Coming to their edge lengths, we already know in this A is not equal to B is not equal to C, but the angles alpha is equal to beta is equal to gamma is equal to 90 degree. When we come to examples, rhombic sulfur is the example. Rhombic sulfur, potassium nitrate KNO3 are some examples of this rhombic crystal system. Next, coming to hexagonal. So the fourth one, so the fourth crystal system is hexagonal. In hexagonal, the possible variation is only one, that is primitive. What about the edge length? You have already seen A is equal to B, but that is not equal to C, means one of the edge length will be somewhat larger than A and B. But the angles, so here two angles alpha and beta, they are 90 degree, gamma is 120 degree. So alpha is equal to beta is equal to 90 degree angle, gamma is equal to 120 degree. So the best example for hexagonal system is our graphite, zinc oxide, etc. Next, coming to another crystal system, rhombohedral, also known as trigonal. Rhombohedral or trigonal. Rhombohedral or trigonal. So this system is also having a single possible variation, that is nothing but primitive. So coming to their edge lengths, we know their edge lengths are equal. Edge lengths are equal in the sense A is equal to B is equal to C. A is equal to B is equal to C, but the angles alpha is equal to beta is equal to gamma is not equal to 90 degree. So the axial angles are equal, but they are not equal to 90 degree. So the example is calcite. Calcite crystal means calcium carbonate, CaCO3. Mercuric sulfide, HGS, is one more example. So next one is sixth one, monoclinic. So in a monoclinic crystal system, there are two possible variations. One is primitive, another one is end centered. So now coming to the edge lengths. So edge lengths are not equal to one another. A is not equal to B is not equal to C. So here two bond angles like alpha is equal to gamma is equal to 90 degree, but the angle beta is not equal to 90 degree. We have already seen this one. So for monoclinic sulfur is the example. Monoclinic sulfur. And the last one is, crystal system is triclinic. So in triclinic there is only one possible variation. The possible variation is primitive. So here a triclinic is a crystal system in which edge lengths are not equal to one another. A is not equal to B is not equal to C, and even bond angles are also not equal. Alpha is not equal to, beta is not equal to, gamma is also not equal to 90 degree. So the examples are potassium dichromate K2Cr2O7, orthoboric acid H3BO3 are some examples. So students, if you calculate all possible variations, means in cubic system we have 3 possible variations. In tetragonal system we have 2 possible variations, 3 plus 2 5. In orthorhombic there are 4 possible variations, 5 plus 4 9. In hexagonal 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. So these are the all possible variations of a primitive unit cell, which are only known as Bravais lattices. So in my last session, while I was discussing a crystal lattice, I have told you there are only 14 possible variations. So this is all about how possible variations are present in the 7 crystal systems. So the next topic is calculation of number of particles or atoms per unit cell. Dear students, you may think that already we know how many particles or constituent particles are present in each type of unit cell. What you are thinking is wrong. So what we have stated in my previous classes is about lattice points. Means we say in a simple cubic unit cell or primitive unit cell, so total lattice points are 8. Yeah, obviously they are particles only, but now we have to calculate per unit cell. In a single unit cell, when it is present along with different unit cell in a whole crystal system and in whole lattice, crystal lattice, then how it is going to contribute? Means when a unit cell is present in a crystal lattice, then how exactly the number of atoms or particles present in that particular unit cell, that we need to calculate now. So when we talk of BCC, you already know there are 9 lattice points because 8 at the corners, 1 at the body center. When we talk of FCC, you already know that there are 8 corner particles and 6 particles are present at the face center. So totally there are 14 lattice points I have told you. But that is not the exactly the number of atoms or particles they are present when a unit cell is present in the whole crystal system. Actually, a single unit cell which looks like a small box, it is present, it is always present in a crystal lattice in the solids. You may assume these unit cells are arranged as if during construction how we are going to place the bricks one above the other in the similar way. Almost all the unit cells, they are arranged one by one, like how we'll arrange the bricks during construction of a wall. So now in order to calculate the number of atoms or particle per unit cell, you need to know how a corner particle or how a single corner particle is shared by how many other unit cell, or if a particle is present at the body center, how it contribute to another unit cells, or if a particle is present at the face center of a unit cell, then what will be its contribution? First we have to see. In order to understand these 3 points, let me draw a crystal lattice. Let me draw a crystal lattice. So roughly I am drawing a crystal lattice. You have already seen in my previous class. So the students, this is called crystal lattice, what we have studied in my previous session. So now what is my intention to draw once again is to make you clear how a particle present at the corner, how it shares different unit cells. So once again, if you go through this geometry, if you observe properly, you may find that there are about 8 unit cells are present in this geometry. There are about 8 unit cells are there. How it is means, we have arranged 4 unit cell at the bottom and we have another 4 unit cell in the upper part. So what about these points? These are all corner points. So we have points are particles only at the corners. If the particle present here, we say at the face center. If the particle present here, we say they are present at the body center. It means to say that the particles are present only at the corners. So let me consider a particle here. So consider this particle. So I have marked it by using a different color so that you can understand clearly. So consider this particle. If you observe properly, so this particle is a corner particle surely. It is a corner of 1, 2, 3, 4 unit cell which are present at the bottom, and another 4 unit cell which are present at the upper side of our crystal system. So what I mean to say is, a particle which is present at the corner, it shares how many unit cells? 8 unit cells. A particle which is present at the corner shares 8 unit cells. So each corner particle, whenever a particle is present in the corner in a crystal lattice during in solid states, so whenever a particle present at the corner, it shares 8 unit cells. Hence the contribution of each corner particle, each corner particle, it means, so one particle sharing how many unit cells? 8 unit cell. So therefore contribution of each corner particle is 1/8. 8. Contribution of each corner particle is 1 by 8, or we can say it is the share of each corner particle is 1 by 8. So now let me draw another unit cell. If you observe properly, I have drawn two unit cells side by side. So now let me take a particle which is present at the face center. So this one is a face, this one is a face, this one is also a face, face here and here. Okay, if you take a single unit cell, there are 6 faces are present. 6 faces are present. Now see, a common face present between two unit cell I have drawn here. Okay, so now this particle is present at the face center. If I ask you, what is the contribution of this particle which is present at the face center? You may able to answer that this particle shares 2 unit cells. Whenever a particle present at the face center, it always shares 2 unit cells. It always shares 2 unit cells. So therefore, the contribution of a particle present at the face center is one particle sharing 2 unit cell. That's why 1 divided by 2. So therefore contribution of, so this is first and important one, and second one, contribution of a particle, contribution of each face center particle, each face center particle is equal to 1 divided by 2. Contribution of each face center particle is 1 divided by 2. And the last one is where we can expect a particle now means we have already seen the corner particles, we have already seen particle present at the face center. So the another way is when a particle present at the body center, the particle present at the body center. In a unit cell, if the particle is present at the body center of the unit cell, then it is no longer connected with other unit cells. Means if a particle is present exactly at the body center of a unit cell, means it is not going to share with other unit cells, though they are connected with each other. So that particle mainly belongs to only that particular unit cell. Hence its contribution is 1. Now it is clear, contribution of a particle present at the body center is equal to only 1, because it share only one unit cell, 1 by 1, it is 1. So the third important point is contribution of particle at the body center, contribution of particle at the body center is equal to 1. So dear students, it is very important to understand the contribution of a particle present at the corner, contribution of a particle when it is present at the face center, and what is the share or contribution of a particle when it is present at the body center. I have told you. So contribution of each corner particle, as each corner particle shares 8 different unit cells. So that's why its contribution is 1 by 8. When a particle is present at the face center, it always shares 2 unit cells. That's why its contribution is 1 divided by 2. When a particle is present at the body center of the unit cell, it is no way connected with other unit cell. In other words, it is not shared by other unit cells. Hence a particle present at the body center shares only one unit cell, that's why its contribution is 1 by 1. That is nothing but its contribution of body center particle is only 1. So dear students, now let me calculate how many atoms or particles are present per unit cell of simple cube, also known as primitive unit cell, BCC, that is body centered cubic unit cell, and FCC, face centered cubic unit cell. It is very simple. Dear students, those who appear for Karnataka PUC examination, for them it is very important 2 mark question. Very important for 2 mark. It's very simple. Soon after saying simple cube, I will draw the diagram of simple cube just to remind. In simple cube, the particles are present only at the corners. So in the simple cube or primitive unit cell, the particles are present only at the corners like this. First I will write that sentence. In simple cube or simple cube has 8 particles at the corners. Calculation is very simple. Simple cube has or simple cube contain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 particles at the corners. Means we have only particles present at the corners. Next, what I suppose to write is, what is the contribution of each corner particle? I already had that discussion. What is the contribution of each corner particle? That is 1 by 8. That we are supposed to write now. Contribution of each corner particle is equal to, you know already, it is 1 divided by 8. See, we have 8 corner particles and their contribution is 1 by 8. So what is the total number of particles now? Means just multiply the number of particles with their contribution, you will get the total number of particles. Total number of particles or atoms in simple cube is equal to, see, in simple cube we have particles only at the corners. So that's why, how many particles are there at the corners? It is 8. What is their contribution? 1 by 8. So the number of particles is equal to 8 into 1 by 8. So the number of particles in a simple cube is exactly 1. It is 1. Next, coming to the calculation of number of particles per unit cell of BCC, body centered unit cell. Now let us calculate the calculation of number of particles or atoms per unit cell of BCC. So BCC in the sense body centered cubic unit cell or body centered unit cell. See here, in simple cube what happened? We have only one type of particle, means particle present at the corners. In BCC, the name itself indicating body centered cube. So body center in the sense there is a particle, there is one particle present at the body center, that we have to remember. So now the diagram will be, firstly a unit cell has 8 corner particle as it is. Next one is, so one more particle is present at the body center. It means there are 2 types of particles are present now. 2 types of particles. How 2 types? those particles, those present at the corners and the particle which is present at the body center. That's why two types. If you want total number of particle means you have to add up both the particles along with their contributions. So okay, first I will write. So what I can write is, so BCC contains 8 corner particles. So BCC contain 8 corner particles, 8 corner particles and one particle at its body center. So this is the simple way how I can write here. So in a simple way, BCC contain 8 corner particles and one particle at its body center. Now we have to write contribution of corner particles as well as contribution of body center particle also, because two types of particles are present. Corner particles are also there, body center particle is also there. So write the contribution of both type of particles here. So now contribution of each corner particle, you already know this one, I have used it in the previous one, it is 1/8. Contribution of particle at body center, I mean body center particle, contribution of particle at body center, you know it is 1. So I have written two contributions here because two types of particles are present, that is only important thing. So in simple cube there were particle present only at the corners, that's why we have taken contribution of corner particle. So but in this case along with corner particles we have particles at the body center also, so that's why I have written contribution of particle at the body center. Now let us calculate total number of particles. Total number of particles or atoms in BCC is equal to, what about the corner particles? How many corner particles? 8. What is their contribution? 1/8. So this is about corner particles. Plus, because one more type of particles are there, where it is one body center particle. So 1. What is its contribution? It is also 1. So 1 into 1 is 1. 8 ones are. So 1 plus 1 it is 2. So the total number of particle in BCC is equal to 2. So coming to the last one, calculation of number of particles per unit cell of FCC. Third one, FCC, the name itself indicating face centered cubic unit cell. Face centered cubic unit cell. So now hope you understand BCC. In the same way we can calculate the number of particles present in FCC also. It is as simple as BCC. Let us see how we can calculate for FCC. So first let me write the diagram. Okay. So now, this is the simple cube or primitive unit cell. So let us make it FCC, means face centers. There are 6 faces. At each face center there is a particle like this. So totally how many faces are there? There are 6 faces are present in a unit cell. So totally 8 particles at the corners and 6 particles are present at the face centers. So in simple way I can write FCC has 8 corner particles. FCC has 8 corner particles and 6 particles are present. 6 particles are present at face centers. So once again there are two types of particles are present here. One is corner particles. How many corner particles are there? 8 corner particles. And face center particles, there are 6 face center particles are there. So once again, as we have corner particles, once again we have to write contribution of each corner particle, that is equal to 1 by 8. So next, what are we supposed to write now? Contribution of particle at face center. Face center, already we know it is 1 divided by 2. So therefore total number of particles or atoms in FCC unit cell is equal to, see, there are 8 corner particles are there. So first let us talk about corner particles. 8 corner particles, their contribution is 1 by 8 plus, why there is a plus means two types of particles, corner particles, face center particles. So how many face center particles are there? 6. So 6 into, what about their contribution? It is 1 by 2. So 2 1s are 2 3s are 8 1s are 8 1s are. So it is 1 plus 3. So total number of particle in FCC, total number of atoms or particle in FCC unit cell is 4. So finally I am concluding. So we have calculated that. So simple cube has 1 particle per unit cell. So BCC has 2 particle per unit cell of BCC unit cell, and FCC has 4 particle or atoms per unit cell. In order to have this calculation, in order to understand this calculation of particles or atoms per unit cell, first you have to know what is the contribution of each corner particle, or what is the contribution of a particle present at the body center, as well as what is the contribution of each face center particle also. After knowing that only you will be able to calculate this one. I have told you it is very important for 2 marks for the students of Karnataka, those who appear for PUC examination.